record, share screen. Now, looking at the market. Okay, I'm just going to put this here, down here. And whoever listens to this later on, I hope you're having a good day. Good night. All right, the money zone. So, rules, right? Hang on, let me just move that over here. The rules for this, let me just put Sydney on. No, it's Asia. Okay. So the moving averages, and this applies for the automation as well. Okay, I'm going to keep it very simple. So if this looks like really too busy for you, just come in and close them up, right? You can just close them up, whatever you're not using, right? And then it doesn't look so, whoa, look how many categories there are, okay? Because I have quite a few different things in here. So I'm going to go over this automation and the money zone signals for TradingView. All right, so in here, this is the automation, right? You can see, where is it? Right? It's automated. So we all know that. And then this one is the same, but it's for TradingView. But the same rules apply to both, right? Just because it's an automated one, it doesn't mean just turn it on and let it go and set and forget, right? So when I see a downtrend, I'm going to turn it on for sells only. When I see an uptrend, I'm going to turn it on only for buys only, but I'm going to be watching it. And my goal is, to make money for that day in my accounts. So whether I'm on a 50K account or a 100K account or a 150K or a 250, I have my daily goal, and then I wait for a trending market, and I look for markets that have instruments that are on a trend, and then I make my money, right? So I'll go on to this in here, the money zone. Okay, so this, you can chat in here as well, right? But the market just repeats itself. And it's quite funny. This week, I got called, "Oh, you're just a retail trader." And I'm like, "Well, there's many ways of trading, right? I'm a breakout structure trader. I'm a pattern trader. I'm a trend trader. Like if you look at this, right, the moving averages are above, right? So I'm only going to be looking to buy, right? Okay. Here, this is selling. So the moving averages are underneath. So I'm only selling. Then sometimes the market after a move will consolidate. And that's where I'll look to see where there's patterns, right? So I can clearly see here, right, that this here is a pattern. And there's your buy for a push out. And then when it breaks this in an uptrend, I'm there. Now it came to a zone, right? The market moves from your demand to your supply, right? And you can see that even on this pattern here, there's a head and shoulder pattern, right? So when it breaks and all that, I'm in there, right? There's a pull up, there's my money, right? That's what I look for. There's a pattern in here. Okay, now I've been drawing patterns for a while, and I dream about them. So, but that's how I am. But when you come onto in here, right? Okay, these rules, right? You're looking at the sniper. Okay, 6E. What am I going to be doing here? I'm only going to be buying because the moving averages are below price. Where's it heading to? We've got a higher high, higher low, right? So these rules here, I'm just kind of really like made it smaller, right? There must be two top reds to sell, right? Okay. Must be two top greens to buy on the bottom bar. So I just have to put the bottom. So two. So that's what I'm talking about here. All right. So if I come here and I go into the 1 minute time frame, where did the thing go to? There it is. Right. What's the market doing here? It's selling. Right. So if I come here and on the automation, I see this. So if I just hide this, right, it's come around, right? What pattern do I see? I'll just draw them out. It's easier. Right, we've got a higher high, higher high, higher low. Now, whether I'm on the automation or on the trading view, right, this is where I'm going to be buying, right? This now is like a head and shoulder pattern, right? We didn't make a high, we just made a lower high. Now it's broken through here, right? So now I'm looking at this pattern here, right? And when I look at my rules here for the money zone, sniper signals, right? Okay, where's it heading to, right? The market has a base or a demand. I call them zones because they're support and resistance, so I just say zones, right? And then there is the top, right? Where is this price going to, right? So I'm just going to get rid of this, right? And there it comes to this area where price heavily pushed up. So here is an area that I'm looking to, but while it's in a downtrend, right? Okay, all right, come over here, right? The sell, right, equals red. Okay, red is sell. I mean, most traders know that. Green is buy, right? But on here, down in these little waves, it's kind of like a MACD kind of thing, oscillator kind of thing. You know, when this is red, you're selling, right? Greens are little pullbacks, right? They're going to tell you when there's a pullback. You can see here, right? So we got the red, right? But if this is more green, there's a lot of buyers. See, there's more buyers here, right? Then there's a lot of reds. So now we've got more sellers. And when we have the sell, we want to have the two top reds, right? And I'm talking about this bar here, right? The two bars, if you pull it up, right, in here, let me just scroll this over on the Heikin Ashi candle. All right. Okay, on here, there's our sell, right? Now it came out of this pattern. Let me just hide it so you can see the price, right? Move all the squiggles and indicators, hide what actually the price is doing. So this is where it made the lower high. See, it's actually lower than this one, right? We had the high, we had a lower high, then another lower high, and then we have our trend here, and I'm looking, what pattern is this doing? Right? It's very bearish. Looks like it wants to curl around, right? Now look at the moving averages, they're underneath, right? This is red. This ticks all my boxes. This is red down here. red, right? Red. Okay, I don't care about this bottom one. The third one here, I don't care. This is just telling me the momentum pretty much of what's long term. Okay. Okay, see there's pullbacks and things like that. The moving averages is what I want to look at. Now, if I come here, right, and I'll just see this here. See how this is nicely come apart? This is what I'm looking for. And the market just does this pattern over and over again on all kinds of instruments, on pairs, currency, assets. It just repeats itself, right? And that's how I trade. I see a downtrend, a pullback, and when the moving averages, right? See how it comes into the moving averages, right? And then the moving averages go above it. There's my money, right? And I don't need too much, right? There's my money in several of my accounts, whether I'm in Forex or futures, right? But the rules are price must be below the moving averages for a sell and above for a buy. Right, so when I come onto here, right, put this on, right, if this is on the automation, right, I'm going to turn my automation on sell only, right? There's a sell, it pulls back into the moving average. I have red, right? This here I'm going to take. I'm going to take this one. I'm going to take this one here. It's red. This is all red, right? If you have a look. Oh, we got the red, 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 red. We got the Heikin Ashi candles, right? If I just hide this again, we have got the fat, flat Heikin Ashi candles. We've got fat, flat. This isn't a downtrend, right? It's making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, right? We can take advantage of this all the way down to where's the market coming to. So I'm looking at the zone. There's a zone. Look to the left. Right? Okay. And we just get in on more sells until there's a, see here, this called a sell. Just look at it, it's hit this area. Right? So you want to be careful that it might bounce off that. Right? Price, look to the left here. Right? This area here. Right? This area here bounced off. Right? There was a buy. So when it came into this zone, you have to be careful. Then I look at the pattern. Look, it's a falling wedge here. Okay, see in here? I'll just draw it, it's easier. Right, in here, there's here. Right? That here is not only just a wedge, it's a breaker structure, and it's still got the big, fat, flat Heikin Ashi candles. Right? You can see the momentum here. What is this? It's a break and a retest with a bearish pattern. So in here, I'm still going to be selling. Right? Where is the market coming to? It's coming from a zone. Where is it going to? It's going to another zone. Right? And I look at the higher time frames. I never just stick to the 1 minute, but the rules are the same and over again. Right? And I just look to the left. What happened here? Now look what happened here. Then the market broke this area and she bought. So in here, if you have a look, I just got talking on there. Okay, if you look at the higher time frames, okay, And you look at the 1 hour time frame, you look at the 15 minute, where is price on that chart? What's happening to it? Is it in an going in an uptrend or downtrend? Right. The stop loss, a lot of people ask me that, where do I put my stop loss? Okay. Well, mostly I put it like below or above. That is written wrong. Below or above the high, right? Okay. Um, and this here, I know this is green, but it's normally black, right? There might even be a black one here. Yeah. This one here, if I come in, just big black. I think this is the big one. Okay. Okay. All right. If price is away from this big black, so it's a saying, away from the black, it will come back, right? So a lot of the times, like just because this is above price doesn't mean I don't go in for a buy, right? You can clearly see it came to a zone. This is an area where I look, right? I also have this break here, right? Just telling me we are buying. And then also I've got, right? Look at the candles. What are the candles telling you? The candles are saying they are fat and flat and they are full of buyers, right? And we've got a little double bottom here, but it's the candles that are telling you now, I'm going to be in this. So when I put on this here, right, what have we got? Fat, flat, moving averages are now below price, right? They're far away as well. So when the market is actually far away, the price, sorry, from the moving average, that's a very strong trend. Okay, so in here you want to be trailing your profits up, right? And you're looking to the left. Where's the zone? See how when it come to this zone to the left, it kind of went but it's coming up to, it could be coming up to this, up to here, right? But I'm here with the green. This ticks my box. It's green. It's come to a nice zone, right? We've been trending down quite a bit. Now we're having a pullback, right? Or a continuation up, right? This is all nicely green. Beautiful. This started ending here, right? It also gives you divergence. You don't know about divergence, look it up. Right. These here are just the pullbacks, and then you can see starts going red. I'm down here, right? Starts going red. We get a sell. What kind of candles? We have a bearish move back into the moving average, then we start curling around. And this just repeats itself. Now, if you're, say for example, you have got 50K account, right? My stop loss would be above here or above this last high. Right? Here, boom, right? If this is here and this starts coming back around and be bullish, I don't want to be in it, right? But I might put my stop loss here because I don't want no that weird wick to wick up, okay? All right. So I'm not going to put my stop loss here because the market can come up, okay? It'll be over here or up here, right? But if this starts turning to go bullish, I don't want to be in it because the price could be that they could now take it for a buy. Okay. But this here, you don't need that much money. Right. But it's all ticking now. I don't care if that grey's here, right? That's the reason why that's grey, okay, is because it had a pullback. I'd still get in if it called a sell here because it broke this. Right? But there it was all, you can tell we're making a lower low. Right? It's breaking. All right, but in here, see how this is multi? In here, we've got a grey, we've got a red, we've got a grey, and sometimes there'll be a bit of green. This is a no-go. It's come to a zone. Look to the left, right? There's a no-go. Right? This is beautiful. We have got green, 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 right? Fat, fat Heikin-Ashi candles, right? When it starts wicking, I'm out. I actually get out. That's a good amount of money. I put my trend line up and I stay in. And make sure if you're on a challenge, not on a challenge too, but that you're trailing your profits with the trailer threshold. Right? Okay. And that is, the market just repeats itself. Wow. I had my first coffee in Vietnam. They make good coffee. They make exceptional coffee. But this, I like this supply and demand, this one. You see how price comes here, respects. So when price comes to this zone again, right, it would probably bounce off it. Okay. If this was going to go down, comes down to here, it'd have a reaction. So when we're buying or selling and you get a signal, right, if you had a sell signal here, you'd have to look to the left. Right? Look to the left. Most traders know that. Now, if this would be a break of structure, right? Like it did on Bitcoin on Sunday, I said, watch this area. If it breaks, it's going to sell to the zone, right? And that's what it did. It just went flying down, nice bearish pattern, and fly down, to that zone. Then it turned around and went flying up. The market just keeps on moving, but you can easily make money, right? You put that along here, right? If you're on the market, this here, and pulls back, right? Pulls back. Now it's not perfect like this, right? But in here, when the market pulls and you get a buy in here, because we're in an uptrend, this is where you have your buys on and only getting in buys, right? Now, the market will be just, like sometimes it'll be consolidating and you'll get buys and sells and buys and sells and buys and sells, right? And it's like a cooker, right? Let me just put it onto a black chart, right? Because a lot of people try and buy and sell with the signals in an area where there's just, it's not good. Like, anyway, let me just go on to, I hope that makes sense, right? Two red cells, the two top, right? If it's red, right, sell, everything's underneath the moving averages. The top green one is a lagging one, so I will still buy or sell, if it's still there. Like, that doesn't worry me. But see, can you see how this whole trend? I mean, when it came around, I don't know if you can hear the kids yelling, right? This here, when this broke this area, right? Look at this pattern, right? This pattern, right? Now you might be in here going, oh, this is a sell, it's underneath, right? It all lines up. You go, oh, I've got a sell, and it comes to here and reverses. How come it didn't work? Well, it's creating what I call like a combustion oven, like an oven. It's brewing up. It's brewing up to cook, right? And these patterns, right, is what I look for when I'm trading, right? And I see a push up And then I want to see something here. It could be this pattern, could be that pattern, it could be just a box, right? But normally the market come up, make a higher high or higher low, then a lower high, right? And you can see it in here. We've got the moving averages crossing over, right? We are now, that area here is where I'm going to be buying, right? I'm going to be in this, and the pressure, what happens when it comes out of some consolidation, whether it's a sorry, these kids, man, are so funny. They're all jumping around, singing. I don't know if you can hear them, but it's this. This is a cooker. So if you don't know if you're like, oh, is this buying or selling? Sometimes the moving averages can just be between, and then it starts coming out, and they start coming out apart, right? Like it did here. So through and then boom. Now this here, okay, when I'm on the automation, because it's the same thing, right? I can have this chart on. I can see this is a bullish pattern. I can see the moving averages are nicely apart. See, there's a space, right? There's a space here. That's what you want to see, right? And then there's a pullback into the moving average. It's now made a lower high and a higher high. See, this is higher, this is higher than this, right? Basic market structure. What am I looking for? Only buys. Now, a lot of people ask me, what's my TP? Now, depending on the market, am I just going to go in for this amount here, buy, put my stop loss under? No, I'm going to see that this is going all the way. This push here, this consolidated bullish pattern is telling me that they're going to push it out, right? And when I see this momentum, you can use an indicator, you can look at that green, right? This is staying green, everything's green. I just look at this and I stay in this until it starts going funny. And I go, okay, I'm not going to give my money back. I get out, right? Because I know that I can come back in, right? And then I can use this to get back in the trade. So I've got my money here, right? And if I've got the automation on, I would either have a trailer or I'm watching it, right? The automation is for you so that it will trigger when you want it to trigger, right? If you're on NinjaTrader, okay? So I have it on NinjaTrader and I'm always looking at TradingView as well. But this here will trail for me. And you can also attach it to what's called a trend. It's in the files in Discord, right? And it will trail like above these dots. You'll see Rainier does it. If I go on to where's, yeah. And you can collect all that profit. But what I'm trying to say is I'm only buying with the trend, right? Okay. And these pullbacks are giving me a bullish pattern, a bullish flag pattern, bullish retest of this area. I know that I'm going to be in this buy, right? Does it again. We made a higher high. I get this. Boom. But it's coming to a demand area or resistance or supply. You know what I mean? I call them zones. If it breaks this zone and on the higher time frame, breaks it, retests it down, all right? Or it could double here and this acts as it just wants to come down, right? So when this starts going down, I look for right? If price comes this way, I'm going to look for the moving average to be on top. And then you'll see what happened here, but do it opposite. And if the market's like this, normally, as I said before, the moving averages are between. But this is an area where you want to look for it to boom, boom, or boom, boom, break on out, right? And the market just repeats itself over and over. And if you come in, I think Rainey is a brilliant trader. You know, you put on his trades and put it on your chart. I think this one's a good one here to show, right? See here, like same. Market just repeats, right? This is the automation. We have got all the green. We've got a pullback, right? We're waiting. We've got the white, we've got the pullback, right? I'm only going to have my little box on the automation ticked on. And you can see there's a buy, right? There's a buy. It's just coming around, right? This one I'd be taking. Where would I have my stop loss? I'd have it here, right? I'm not going to have it right here because the market, you know what I mean? But I'll have it here and then I can have a TP, right? So I can have a stop loss here and a TP wherever, TP here, right? And then I can enter the trade, right? On a pullback as well, if it's too far or whatever. Well, if some people on here are doing automation as well or manual, right? Okay. I will sometimes use this and I'll just use it on auto as well, right? But this will trigger in the buy and there's your money, right? Here's your money, right? And then it pulls back, right? Places a buy on this candle here, right? And there will be your money. But you can have your stop loss wherever. Let's go here and for a TP here, and then you can trail it, right? You can either turn it off and then like the automation and then have it so it's trailing. You can't really see it, but it's called the T trend. Right now I have mine very close, right? So it trails a bit more closer, right? But you have to be in the market. Like some days, like for example, in Asian session, there's not going to be as many long, like New York session, you get the volume, the volatility, and that's where your trailer will just go, it will just go up. So the goal is not just to come and get 20 ticks or 40 ticks. Nothing wrong with that. But if you're trying to build a buffer for your accounts, right, and this thing just trails it for you, right? Okay, boom, you're getting more money but as a buffer, right? And see here, this placed a buy here, right? Okay, and it's at BE, right? In this market is in an uptrend. It's very easy, right? Look for a trending market, right? If it looks like this, like that, it's just go find something else, right? This here is creating those bullish patterns, those bullish patterns. There's a file that I have in the Forex one from, can't remember his name, but he does all the little patterns on the 1 minute time frame. It's very good. But see, it's making these highs, higher, right? Higher, right? And then it'll come down to make a lower until it's reached either a fib level, like it could be a 618 or a 50, right? And always look to the left, right? To the left. If there is, hang on, let me see if we've got time here. Oh my gosh. Hang on. Okay. Right. See that how this is a massive big void, right? There's no turnarounds here, right? Right here, right here, right? When this consolidated stuff, which actually in here is good money because it's making high highs, right? Right. But once it breaks this, see how the market has this supply area and it heavily, quickly, boom, 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 came up because there was nothing to the left. Well, I call this no turnarounds or a big gap, right? Gap in the market where it just tanked and that quickly closed. So when it breaks here, this is a breaker structure, which is also when you look to the left and you go, okay, so I'm going to be buying, and in here, right, is where I'm only going to have my buys, right? Okay, if I put on this, yes, okay, okay, so I'm only going to be buying here, right? Buying here. I think that was it here. Did it go somewhere else? Anyway, you get what I mean here. There. Okay, just went a bit smaller. Okay, so it's coming out, right? There's our buys, right? What pattern are we making here? Right? Bullish. So me, I'd be adding a trade in there. This pattern here, right? You see it's a head, I mean a left and a head with a bearish. To me, that's telling me it's going to sell off. So I would take this sell because it's breaking this, right? Even though it's in an uptrend. And then comes into the moving average. What does it do? Buys out. We've got the green. Tick. We've got the green. Tick. We've got the green. We're in an uptrend. Okay? We're making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. This is where I want to be buying. Okay, now it starts going under. It's in an uptrend here, right? This to me doesn't look like, see the difference in here to here, these candles, right? This has got momentum. This tells me with these Heikin-Ashi candles that there is a lot of movement. The sellers are in, right? They've come into it. Right? And if you had a buy here, for example, I wouldn't take it unless there was a pullback, right? If you get a buy here, just because an indicator prints a buy here doesn't mean, oh, that called a buy, I'm going to get in, right? Because it's so extended, right? So you want to wait for a pullback, right? And this, you get an entry price, right? That is at a discount. It's like going to a shoe shop and buying shoes for 99, but you can wait for them to be 49. So we want to buy at a cheaper price. And when they come, right, when the market pulls back into the moving average, now there's plenty of videos. I made one as well about pullbacks into the moving average.